Them Damn Mexicans presents TDM Talk.
What's up, everybody, man? Thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of TDM Talk. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And thank you guys for supporting and watching us. Man, we really appreciate it. This platform, I feel, is needed for brown artists, brown businesses, and brown everything, man. So support brown, buy brown, and embrace the culture. Today we have a very special guest, man, all the way from the east side. And as he likes to say, east up or bust. I like that. I'm from the north, though, so I can't say that. But, man, you know, I want to introduce my guy, man. He was on the TDM Cypher. You guys know him as Spaceman Apollo. Welcome, brother.
What's going on, brother? Happy to be here.
Thank you, man. Thank you for pulling up on me, man. I know part of why we do what we do is to showcase and shed light on at least for me, people that I respect in the game, you know, people that I know that deserve a platform that I think, man, is needed, bro. Like when I did the DFD episode or when we had Chop and Vega on before, like, I feel like there's not very many avenues for us like that, for you guys to go and get on and you know, or if there is, you got to pay an arm and a leg to get on that thing.
True.
And then don't really get nothing out of it other than just saying, well, I just did an interview with so-and-so, and sometimes it doesn't amount to anything. But we try to stick true to the underground. We try, and I don't care, you big, small, it don't matter, whatever, pause. If I rock with you talent-wise, man, look, I want to sit here and talk about it, man. So I appreciate you letting us hear, you know, your story.
Man, I'm just glad to be here. I mean, like, you and Latinx, man, like you said, it's y'all always showing love, and it's showing love just off the love. It ain't about, you know, no type of I mean, granted, it is reciprocal, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it's not just transactional based. It's like, man, we fuck with what
so
you
we're
got
going with
on.
the big words today. Okay, transactional, you know. All right, man. Look, I ain't studied my dictionary last night, but
my bad.
Nah, you're good.
I ain't smoked this morning, so you know.
That's part of why, like, how Latinx and I got involved in the first place. Because when he started following me, I remember it was like a brand new platform. I didn't even know who he was. He just was following, and I was like, man, he was doing the collage thing, and I was like, yo, that's dope, bro. And that's how I knew about a lot of you guys, because he was in I don't know how y'all met or how y'all got in touch, but I just know I met a lot of you guys through him. And I would hear about the crash landing thing, and one of the first times I think I heard you was on Chop's song, you, Chop, and Young Easy.
Myself.
We actually gave Young Easy the shirts. Him and shout out to Wolf, man, they wore the TDM shirts. I didn't even know what video they were using it for. I just remember seeing the video pop up, or somebody sent it to me like, "Oh, look, they're wearing your shirt." I was like, "Damn, okay, that's."
I think that is how it came about. You might have reached it, because I remember you commented on there and was like, shout out like, "Hey man, rocking the merch, woo." And I was like, man. And anytime I see someone that kind of just is showing love to somebody else, you know, within that circle, whatever the hell, I'll be like, okay, let me tap in and see what they're about. And and I just seen what y'all were doing, and I'm like you said, we need this. It's something that we don't really have, you know.
So when I heard you and Chop's verse on there, I was like, oh, this is different. But I like, you know, it's like, but I like it. Like my boy on the trading day says, he's an evil, dirty, ruthless vato. I like it. But no, it was, you know, because it's hip hop, but it's I don't really know how to describe it other than, man, y'all bring like a street element to it as well, like just really on some real shit. It's not just you trying to be lyrical, it's just lyrical, but on speaking some real shit. So prior to that was probably what, like 2 years ago that song came out, I want to say.
Yeah, probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago almost. Yeah, and it's crazy how time flies.
Exactly. Like I keep thinking it's like last year, but I remember we were doing the Latinx playlist, and we were supposed to. We never did it, never came out, but we were supposed to do a top like 50 or something like that from everything throughout the year and put one playlist together. It never came out. But that was one of the songs I was going to put on there, but it had came out the year before that. I was like, damn, so that was 2021. But anyway, man, yeah, time does fly, bro. Time does fly. So how long before that did you start rapping? How long had you been rapping from that point?
Man, I was just telling homeboy, I've always just had a passion for music. Grew up around, not that I had any musicians in my family, but music was always just a constant element. I probably started really trying to like rap, like writing stuff down right when I was 12.
Okay.
And kind of just carried it through, you know, high school as I got a little bit older. probably when I was about 21 is when I was like, okay, man, I'm gonna start going out and doing shows. And it was funny because I was just on home. I had all my shit backwards. So like I go out there and like you go and charge, or they charge like maybe like $300-400 for like 10 minutes or whatever the hell. Go out there and rock show competitions, and man, I clean them out. When competitions go, knock them hoes out. Do the shows, rock them hoes. Everyone coming up to me after, hey man, we fuck with the music. Woo, where can we find you? And I'm like, shit, right here. You know what I'm saying? They're like, you ain't got nothing on YouTube. I'm like, nah. You ain't got nothing on Spotify, iTunes. I'm like, man, nah. I said I put all my money in to do this shit. I didn't have nobody telling me how to, So yeah, man. So I guess started saying about 12. And then since then, just trying to, and it was always a passion. I always tell myself, man, even if I couldn't get paid for this shit, I'd still do it.
Yeah. It's funny you say about the whole backwards thing, because I remember doing that, some dumb shit like that when I first started. Someone had done the mock-up of the shirt, the TDM shirt, and I posted the picture. Now, mind you, I didn't have any product, but I posted the picture on Instagram, and, hey, I want one, bro, how much? And I'm like, damn, I don't even have any, so I felt like a fucking idiot. Like,
hey, test the waters, though. Sometimes you got to throw them testers out just to see how they going to react.
And I was like, damn, that's money I missed out on right there. So then I was like, that one, and I remember Fabulous saying, like, you should make more moves and less announcements. And I'm like, damn. And then that experience was like, yeah, I'm going to just shut the hell up until I actually have it. And then sometimes we get excited and we like to announce shit before it happens. And then something happens, and then we don't, it doesn't come to fruition, and it's like, damn, what happened with the so-and-so that you was going to do? And I'm like, yeah, so, we learn from our mistakes, though, bro, because, like you said, ain't nobody really teaching me the game.
Facts.
I'm just, we're all of us are learning as we go. To me, that's the best experience, the best teacher, I think. Go and make the mistakes, man. Go on and like you said, you messed up. You were like, damn, I did this backwards. I need to know. So after that happened, how did you go about getting the rest of it done? Did you research it yourself? Or
on the cool, so like, and kind of tap into what you're saying is like you went and did it. Same thing. I went and put myself out there. You went and put your shit out there, right? And granted, we weren't ready for the demand that was gonna come, but we learned something very important. There's a demand there. We didn't have the supply, but there's a demand there. You know what I'm saying? And just like I say, you lose more from, indecision than the wrong decision. So at least if you're doing the wrong shit, you might pick up a little gem or two. Yeah. So, to speak to what you just asked me, man, I just learned how to do pretty much I learned everything that can go wrong and how not to do certain shit, right? Yeah. Then I had some life shit going on where I kind of had to duck off for a while, do my thing. And then when I jumped back out, I was like, man, you know what? We're going to do this shit right. We're going to be going to actual fucking studios, get this shit, actually recorded. And then it actually wasn't until, so we did that, 2000, you said 2001, we did that with Chop, so probably like 2020, around there. Okay. Somewhere within that time frame is whenever AB approached us with the whole, let's do Crash Landing. Okay. And we met at my boy Key, Dope Aesthetic. Shout out Dope Aesthetic if you're watching. Yeah. AB, Chop, shout out to y'all too. And we pulled up over there and we were like, all right, look, what are we going to do? Like, because I've had a lot of people approach me over the years, and a lot of it just be bullshit. A lot of people come and they talk, and it's like, sometimes it's unnecessary. Like, you come up, hey, man, we're going to do this, and you have no intention. I didn't ask you for it. Yeah. I didn't ask you to tell me none of this shit. But people just want to, I don't know, fucking diarrhea of the mouth or some shit. So I'm all about, if someone wants to collab or do something, I treat it a lot like business or fucking around out here. Like, I need FaceTime. Like, I'm pulling up on you or you're pulling up on me. Yeah. If you're not going to put the energy to, then you probably bullshit. You probably pussyfooting around. So anyways, we pulled up over there and like, man, you for real? We doing this? Yeah, we're going to do this. We're serious. Okay, well, so the first thing to do, how are we going to start getting our shit streaming? So we looked into, United Masters, DistroKid. And it was actually me, Dope Aesthetic, Chop, AB, all at the table. We did all of our shit the same night. Oh, wow. We all had something that we were like, man, fuck it, let's just throw something in the tank and see what it does. Yeah. So we all just uploaded, did our little thing, and just to see the process of how it would go. Yeah. And from there it was like, okay, now we know that we already know how to record. Obviously, we got our studios that we can go to. Now we have distribution in our hand that we can boom expedite this whole process. Like, it's on us now. Like, what do we want to do? And from there, it was just a matter of trying to,
the grind, man. It's a constant grind. Like, I say that to any artist. Like, you got to put in the work. Like, you got to put in the work. And I think more so with artists, like, when you take time off, it's like people forget about you, and then you
Yeah,
gotta work
hell
almost
yeah.
twice as hard to get back into the light and get people to remember who you know.
And every time you do, and this is one of the things I learned, every time you do that shit, you're gonna lose some of them people. You're gonna lose belief. You know what I'm saying? When I first started doing that shit, I used to show up to the shows like, man, I could show up like, not even bullshit, like 40, 50 deep. I have my people, you know, females, fucking strippers, whatever, you name my home. Like, we coming deep. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? Over time, you just watch that dwindle. You watch people stop believing, you know what I'm saying? But I tell people, like, you got to have that. This shit ain't for the weak. This shit right here, it's just like fucking around in these streets, or let's say like you're a barber or whatever, to tap into what you're saying about like clientele. Anyone knows you got to steadily serve that clientele. You duck off and they go elsewhere. Now you got to win them back. And then, you know, every time after that, it's like double. So, you know, I done fell off 2 or 3 times because, you know, I done had real life shit going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I got to duck around, play safe, come back, boom. And then each time it's like waves on a fucking beach, you know, eroding shit. But that's going to tell you, like, are you made for this shit or not? Are you gonna get discouraged? Are you gonna quit? You gonna cry? You gonna bitch? Like, I hate them people that, oh man, my people don't support, my homeboys don't support me. Hey bro, why you crying? Fuck it. If they don't support you, then fuck it. Maybe they have a good reason why they can't do this or that. If they don't, you know, sometimes you gotta let people do what they want to do. They show you what they rather do. And if they're not gonna fuck you, don't take it personal. Hey bro, do what you gonna do, because there's still millions of fucking people out here that, man, you know what I'm saying?
The whole world. I seen a video. I think it was Wallow that said that. He was like, "Hey, man, there's so many billion people on the world."
He was like, Drake. People don't even like Drake, and Drake's top of the game. You know what I'm saying?
I've said that in the interviews where I'm like, look at, you know, Bad Bunny and Drake, and I've heard people say they don't like them, but they're like literally 2 of the best.
That was your DFD, right?
Yeah, I think that was yeah, for sure.
Good interview, by the way. Shout out, Baby Lee.
Yeah, shout out, Baby Lee, man. He, hell of an album he dropped, man. You know,
dope,
crazy,
dope.
Yeah. So the name, that's what I want to know, that, because Spaceman Apollo, where did that come from? I think it's a dope name because it's just a dope name. I just like it. Like, but how did that come about? How high were we?
Shit. Well, actually, you know what's funny? So Apollo had always kind of been like more or less around. I mean, when I first started, I was younger. I had some other. It's like going back and looking at your emails or your Facebook names from MySpace names from back in the day. Like, fuck, I can't remember.
Hotboy 1956.
Yeah, some stupid shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Apollo. It's funny because I was going through my I was looking for some shit on YouTube, and I found one of my old YouTube page from when I was dropping shit from like I said, high school. You can hear it too, like, you know what I'm saying. But I did a remix, or my version of that Moment for Life, that Nicki Minaj, and there's a part in there where I said just give me the mic and we'll just say that it's Apollo night. You seen Apollo fight, you know what I'm saying? Or as what I say is like, don't worry, one day I'll be Apollo size and have Apollo's mic. Give me the mic and we'll just say that it's Apollo night. You seen Apollo fight. And then from there, I just kind of like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't in my plans to name myself Apollo, but it always stuck with me. And then first draft was like Apollo Soul, S-O-L, Spanish for sun. I'm the type that like, kind of nerdy shit, but I always like my shit to have like deeper meanings, multiple levels. So, you know, Apollo, if you know about, you know, your, you know, Greek god, Roman gods and all that stuff, and then his attributes, and then you combine that with soul, Spanish for sun, which is like a shout out to, you know, my Hispanic heritage, and then what the sun means to cultures and, you know, the life and all that good stuff. So that's how it came about. And then over time, I think I changed it to Spaceman just because I've always felt like, I guess I always felt kind of alienated, like different, like, you know what I'm saying? The shit that I be into or that I talk about or my interests and passions is usually outside the lines of like what most people are fucking with. So I've always kind of felt like, man, the people always tell me like, man, that D kind of out there, you know what I'm saying? You know, D, they used to call me Dirty D back. So I'm like, hey, that nigga D kind of out there, bro. You know, motherfucker kind of spacey and shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's just something I was like, man, fuck it. And we're at a time where everyone's like alphabet names or, you know, crazy ass shit these motherfuckers be having. So I'm like,
little or big, you know, little baby.
Yeah, I mean,
right now it's like baby, the baby, D baby,
man,
little baby.
I saw this thing a long time ago where it's talking about Lil Wayne. After Lil Wayne came out, there was like on Spotify. This was like years ago, but they were like, man, there's over like 50,000-60,000 people out there with Lil in their name, like. You know,
them boys still do it, but they changed it. It's like L-U-L.
Yeah, look, it's like you're trying so hard to be different, but you're still the same, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, lol.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, let me not sound like a hater, because there be some of these motherfuckers with these monikers that I still fuck with. I just think, like, you know, the name is funny, but we're all different. We like what we like.
The name, you know, like the one you have, that's unique. Like, I don't think I know any other Spaceman. I still remember reading the caption, you know, Spaceman. I said, what the fuck is a Spaceman Apollo? You know, like, let me. Then I heard you rap, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, man, I expected a guy in a fucking, you know, astronaut suit.
So fucking bubble wrap, yeah, Zoltan shit.
A guy like Marshmallow or whatever, you know, coming out and like in a suit. Nah, I thought, but you know, like I said, that was one of the most, I think, intriguing aspects. Was one, the name, and then two, when I heard you actually rap, I was like, okay, I see what we're working with, man. And then I really had no idea that y'all were. When I asked you guys last year to perform in Embrace the Culture, I had asked AB, Chop, and you. I think that was it. I didn't know that it was a crash landing. Like, I don't know how I didn't know that, or maybe I just.
Maybe it's probably a lot of people that don't know.
I miss a lot
still.
too, though, because I get so much on the Instagram, bro. Like, and we talked earlier about just a lot on my plate, you know, and then I miss stuff, you know, like even with the Baby Lee situation. When I got told him, I was like, man, I was late to the party. We'd been putting them on the playlist, and I had never really listened to the music. I would try to, you know, it's hard to listen to a 25-track playlist, and
from all these people,
from all these different people,
all bombarded and shit.
But when I did finally hear it, I was like, oh shit, you know. So I mean, timing is everything, bro. That's how I feel. So
Facts. Gotta wait your turn.
Yeah, I don't ever get mad about none of that, because I feel like everything in its time, you know.
And to speak to what you were saying about the whole, like, oh, I didn't know y'all on the cool when the Crash Land was going on. It's really just like Chop and AB at the forefront. So they were the ones that were really making the headway for everyone else to be like, oh, Crash Landed. Now, people like on the East who know us, they'll be like, okay, you know, that's Crash Land. He's part of it. But for everyone else that's getting exposure, people really just knew AB and Chop, but that's because they're putting in that work. They're making connections.
I actually thought Crash Landings was Chops, and I remember he and I had that conversation. He's like, oh, no. He goes, that's all AB. He's like, we were just pushing it that hard. And I get it, though, man, because when you're a part of something and you're a real one, you're representing that brand, or you're representing whatever it is. Like, I have a good friend of mine, KT. He owns a sneak apparel. You know, it's a black-owned business. You know, it's a guy I've known for a long time. You know, we always say, that's my brother. I was rocking his gear so much that people thought it was my clothing line. I'd have people DM me, hey, that's your clothing line? I'm like, nah. He told me the photographer thought it was mine as well. And he's like, nah, it's mine. I was like, when they did the photo shoot. So now I get it, man. I get it, you know, because I thought that was dope. So what's the
that's that real support though on the cool.
Yeah.
When it's just like, damn, you riding that hard for it, like, shit, motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Someone got to believe. Some of you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a strong believer in supporting your friends. I mean, that's kind of why when we do these interviews, it's a form of me showing support to you, your brand, your music, whatever it is you got, you know, going on. I think it's dope because I see the work ethic, and I you know, I fuck with it, bro. Like, cause I'm like that. I'm that hardworking guy. You're constantly dropping, you know, and I'm constantly dropping something, you know, although it's not music, but it's content or whatever it is. So that's one of the things I can definitely say that I respect about you, bro, is like your work ethic, and you know, that's something that we talked about, man. Like. The ascension that you guys, from when I first met you guys to where y'all at now, is like a complete, and that's a short 2 years that it's been that way.
Man, that's the same thing with y'all, like you and Latinx. I've watched like the followers, I've watched the content change, I've watched the exposure and the reach grow, and I mean, it's like you know, good grind change your life. You know what I'm saying? You stay up until you down and watch how that shit come around. You know what I'm saying? And it just goes back to what we were saying earlier. You just got to have it in you to believe, because there's going to be times where that shit's hard. You're going to be like, man, I really want to fucking do all this bullshit? But with that payoff of like, hey, bro, I see what you're doing. Like, just being here. It just be points, man, I never thought I'd be, man, I was so in my shit. I was like, man, I don't even know if I ever be able to just make it to that point to be able to, like, do this shit. And then now I'm, you know.
As far as interviews, how many have you done prior to this one? Did you do it with Latinx?
Nah, actually, we talked about that.
Yeah,
and
he's told me for like 2 years, we got to get you on, bro. And I'm like, yeah, say when, man. And matter of fact, we interviewed him and Slim for the. I was right before Slim was dropping his was it an EP or album he was dropping?
Color Money.
Yeah.
Shout out Carlos Slim, dope project. That was a dope project.
Carlos Slim, aka Padrino, Latinx, of course, man. You know, guys that are constantly working. Is usually a lot more noise than that going on over here. I've heard the fire trucks driving by, like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, he's like, make sure it ain't my car. I ain't got no alarm, so I know it ain't mine. I shouldn't have said that. We're gonna edit that out. We're gonna edit that part out. They're gonna be looking for my right eye. This boy saying ain't got no alarm.
They're gonna be looking through the picture. Let me see a motherfucking some part of that car. That motherfucker on.
Just put gas in it, man.
Bring it back.
Not have any. So as far as right now, what are you working on right now? What's you can let it give us a glimpse into what's going on. I know you just dropped the Conical joint, the Sleepwalkers joint, which are two of my favorite. And I told you, I was like, yeah, I'm fucking with the energy on that, bro.
Appreciate that.
I like, we riding? What we doing?
What we doing?
Like, what we doing?
Yeah, now that should actually work itself out. We can jump into that a little bit. But speak to what you were saying, man. So, and go back, also tap into what you said about Latinx when you asked me about the interview. We got something set up for September, right? Okay. But same thing that he been asking me that Zach has also asked me. Other people is like, my thing is, I want to drop an album. I don't feel like people are invested enough in me yet to give a fuck. Like, I'll be pissed if I go and put out this album and then I'm like, I don't get the feedback I want, which granted, I shouldn't have that attitude, but I feel like if I'm at a point where I'm comfortable with like, all right, I've got enough in my discography, I feel like I'm putting enough work feature-wise and everything, I drop this shit because I'm satisfied with what I got and I'm proud of what this could be. I just don't feel like maybe I was there yet for a while. But, man, I've had a lot of people ask me, hey, when we get an album?
Yeah, that's going to be one of my questions is when are we getting a EP, an album? You know, some people will drop an EP before actually doing an album or release a bunch of, singles or like you said, do all the features and really create a buzz. But when is, like, the right time? Do you know? I'm not going
to say I know, but, like, for me, it's the same thing as why I ain't done, because I've been asked to do some interviews. I've done 2 before this, like, way back, and I think only one somewhat saw the light of day. The other one, I don't know what the fuck happened with that.
Yeah.
But I just felt like interviews, I feel like there's 3 things that you should not feel like, oh, I'm going to go do this. When the time is right, it'll present itself. That's a manager, interviews, and then like an album. I feel like whenever you're making enough noise and doing enough shit, a manager's gonna come find you. Yeah. Just like people are gonna want to come be like, hey, let's interview. And same thing with like an album. I think once people are asking, like, hey, when's the album? When's the album? At that point, you've got enough investment. But until then, it's like, man, just put out the work. And I got singles and shit, but I still want to do more visuals. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So are you more of a believer in like creating the demand before? I remember hearing that on Power. Like, Dre was telling the lady at the club, for those that watch.
Shout out Rodney, but fuck Dre. Hated your character. He's a snake. But
yeah, exactly. But one thing he did say, she was like, oh, supply and demand. And he was all like, it's actually, they've been teaching it wrong. You create the demand, and then whoever supplies it wins.
Facts.
And I was like, damn.
That's why they're always going to hit their plugs to fucking, and that's what it is. They say, like fucking, I'm pretty sure someone else said it first, but I first heard it in the Rick Ross song when he was like, hit a nigga's net worth, or hit a nigga's network, harm a nigga's net worth. Yeah. And that's really what it is, you know what I'm saying? But that's just same thing out here,
same way in the streets, man. You hurt their pockets, you pretty much take them out.
You know what I'm saying? Or have them like, hey, what do you know? Yeah. I'm the savior. You know what I'm saying? I got what you look, just like that. Like, same thing with your shirts. There wasn't necessarily a blueprint. Yeah. We got to believe in what we're doing enough to take that risk and see what comes with it. Because not everything's going to be a hit, but you got to be willing to go and take them L's as they come. Because like I said, I either win or I learn. I never lose. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's how I'm always going to see it.
Even with the shit that's gone on with the brand itself in the last 3 years, even the shit that I was like, man, that's some fucked up shit that happened to me, but I'm not even mad about it. because it's like, what did I learn from it that can teach me for the next time?
Facts.
In case this does happen, or in case I decide to work with certain people the next time. Because I hate to say this, but the negative experiences that I've had with people are truly going to affect who I'm working with in the future. Because now I'm thinking, well, you might fuck me over too. You know what I'm saying? You might do me dirty or whatever the case might be. But the point of that is to keep going. Because if you let that stop you, you might as well just quit.
True. True.
Don't even try.
I agree with you. I think though, and like this is like where I have internal debates with myself, because I'm the same way. Like I done had so many people do janky ass shit. That's why I really don't fuck with nobody.
Yeah,
it's because my thing is like I'd rather just stay out your way, because like I ain't none of these other motherfuckers. Yeah. Like if it gets on some real shit, bro. Yeah. Like I said, FaceTime. That's what I'm on. So it's like, why even go there? Especially if I know a lot of you motherfuckers not even on that type of time. So I try to really just separate myself. But it's not to sound like cliche, but it's like they say about love. Get your heart broke, can't be scared to love again. You got to be able to try, but it's like you're gonna have you're a
little bit more guarded.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna see, is this person, you know, you're gonna test them out feelers, and I think it should be the same way as far as like you don't want to cut everybody out and just say, all right, you know, like you said, it's affecting who I work with, which it should. But I feel like, man, for the most part, people are creatures of habit. And I think once you kind of study people, you'll find that, you know, and this ain't across the board. I like to think of myself as an exception to this rule. But for the most part, you can place individuals in certain demographics based on how they act, how they carry themselves and shit. And it's like once you see those mannerisms, those characteristics, then you can spot that in other people. You know, sometimes you may have to play a little game, do a little, use your social skills and kind of fill them out, whatnot. But for the most part, you can work those angles and hit those points and find out, all right, is this somebody I really need to fuck with? And then based off that.
It goes to your point, like earlier we said about, you know, us. Yeah, granted, there's we're using each other, and, you know, but as long as it's not in a negative way, you know, to me, because
fair exchange ain't no robbery.
No, exactly. Perfect. There you go with them big words, man. Word of the day, mannerisms. Correct. I can't even say the word now.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious type shit.
There you go. I'm gonna look that up. We're gonna put it on the screen. That's the word of the day. We recently did the interview with Animes, and she quote shout out to Animes and Super P, the whole DC. One of the words she used, and I'm gonna clip that, but ratchetivities.
Oh, y'all see that? You're like, I like that.
I was like, hey, I like that. I was like, that's gonna be we're gonna start doing word of the week or something like that. Like, somebody says some crazy shit, we're just like, hey, you get the word of the week. And
hey, you never know, that motherfucker might be like, man, hey, you know what? That's some good shit. Hey, I'm finna trademark that motherfucker. Exactly, you never know. Somebody, you know, it should be catchy. Yeah. Just tell them you want your, my little 5% finder's fee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just give me a little, you know, I just want to shout out.
I ain't asking a lot. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a simple man.
No, but I like that ratchetivity. Yeah.
Ratchetivity, but again, back to what we were talking about with the industry, man. Because one thing that I've learned, and I've always known this, because I was around before. It's a lot of bullshitters out there, bro. Like my boy, shout out to Hardcore. He does the editing for the show and all my artwork. But he always says, "Oh, this guy, you know, that guy's a bullshitter. This person's a bullshitter, or whatever." And I'm like, man, I'm starting to find out a lot of these people just, you know. And it's frustrating because you're like, damn, you know, you might want to work with them, but you don't. And like you said, they come up to you with the dry talk and, hey, man, I've had a lot of people, hey, man, let's do an event together. Yeah, let me know, man.
Nothing.
I don't hear from them. Then they see me again months later. Hey, man, we need to do an event together. And I'm right here, man.
Yeah. See,
I mean, at some point, I just stop entertaining it because it's like, bro, you don't just keep saying the same thing over and over. You don't. I'm gonna tell y'all like this: you ain't gotta talk to me, man. If you don't fuck with me, by all means, I'm cool. You ain't gotta say hi to me. You can keep walking. Yes. I'm good. We don't gotta do small talk. I hate small talk.
My favorite one is like, I got a show coming.
Yeah.
I ain't asked you to go to my show. I'm not asking you to go to my show, right? Mm-hmm. You show up if you want to, nigga. That's your business, right? Yeah. I'm gonna go, whatever. Hey, cool. See y'all there. Yeah. You know, that's it. I'm not gonna, you know, cool. See y'all there. Then, when they don't show up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't fucking worried about it. But then you see them again, and it's like, hey, man, woo. This is where, and this probably is why it helps that I stay to myself and I don't fuck with too many people, because I feel like I'm kind of standoffish to an extent, because it's like, a motherfucker did, I'm be like, bro, you ain't got to lie to me. I ain't asked you to go to the fucking show. So now you come and give me an excuse behind a lie
Now
that you told me that I ain't asked for in the first fucking place.
One
like,
lie begets another.
damn, you ain't gotta be like that, but I do. Cause why you had to come and like fuck with me on some bullshit? Yeah. And people be like, you know, especially like, shout out my wife, you know, she be like, you ain't gotta be like that. And I'm like, man, you know what? You be the bleeding heart, baby. You be the one that wants to save the world and be all cordial. Cause I'll tell you what, I ain't got no problem saying, hey, I ordered this, and what is this? Go fit. I don't need nobody to be loud for me. Yeah. And that's every little thing. Cause man, I done learned. You try to be humble. You try to come at like you should be humble. Let me rephrase. You should be humble. It's like in my bio. Move with love, game, and a big stick. You know what I'm saying? Come to everybody correct. Respect yourself, everything around you. But at the same time, like, man, you see bullshit, call it out. Yeah. People may not like it, but you know what? My asshole, whatever you want to call it, it's like a natural filter. Yeah. People will be like, hey, hey, bro, don't go fuck with that nigga. You gonna waste his time. Go be about your business. You gonna go fuck with him. Or, oh man, you know, I'm gonna go something like, hey, bro. Cause you know, a janky motherfucker is gonna chill with a janky motherfucker. A bullshit motherfucker gonna chill with a bullshit. Exactly. So if a motherfucker coming at you and you already, and then his homeboy or homegirl, whatever, come, man, you just do it right. They're gonna be like, hey, bro, I wouldn't do that. And it serves its own function, like I said, like a filter, you know. So
I've done that a lot lately. People ask me an opinion about someone, and I'm like, when I do that, I if it's based off experience, I would definitely tell my experience before anything. Facts. And I will still say, but by all means, you do you. It might have just been me, my experience. But if I don't know, it's like, hey, look, man, I've heard X, Y, Z. I don't. But again, it's still your decision. But if you ask me my opinion, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Facts.
I'm gonna give you the real, and I'm not gonna because I've done the bullshit. I've done the where I kind of just, you know, I don't really want to get involved type of. But I'm at a point at a certain age where I'm like, I don't have time for it. I'm gonna give you the real, you know, and I don't have time to waste because that's what most people want anyway. They just want to really just waste your time, man. But
facts.
Anyway, we'll get off that bullshit, man. As far as like the music, bro, like what's the thought process behind when you write? Like what's the inspiration behind it? What's the motivation behind it?
So, man. Okay, so one, let me just say I try to be as multifaceted as I can. Okay. I'll try a little bit of everything just to see it, like you said, like the response. Yeah. See what we get. When I first started rapping, my whole thing was like, just straight. I was more like a technical rapper, lyrical. Eminem was the one that made me want to like start rapping for real, like, or at least he put that fire. I had a passion, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna put that fire in my belly. I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? But so in the beginning, that's what I consider like rap. Like if you're not rapping like Eminem, for your bullshit rapper. So like for example, back in the day, I used to be a motherfucker like 2 Chainz. I'd be like, man, that motherfucker's trash. Turn that bullshit off, nigga. Get no play in my ride. But I hadn't appreciated, like, you can't expect to get the same thing out of every artist. You got to take what it is. Yeah. So, like, in his own right, 2 Chainz fucking lyrically, that motherfucker off the wall. You know what I'm saying? So
I was a fan of his from when he was Titty Boy. Like that's how long I've known about him. Right before he made the transition.
Player Circle and all that.
Yeah, Player Circle. The whole Duffel Bag Boys. I mean, you know. But anyway,
well, anyways, yeah. So it's like. In the beginning, that's how it was. So that's what all my shit was. But as I grew and started applying more of... Also, too, I was very big on, like, my business and show business. So, like, I was very big on trying to rap about things that would... I almost treat it like my Facebook. If you get on my Facebook... Not that I share my life on IG or Facebook, but, like, IG I use for the music. You get on my Facebook, it's just memes, ideas, and opinions. There's no, like, personal life shit. So that's how I treated the music. I didn't like putting too much of my personal shit because I had so much going on. Okay. And, but as I... developed over time, I was like, man, you know what, fuck it. You got to be able to have fun when you make the music. So you got to have shit like, for example, shout out my nigga Tillo, like we did Conoco. Yeah, Conoco's not a serious song. It's not there's no message or nothing. It's just, we was hype, we fucked with the beat, let's get on the beat and get, you know what I'm saying?
That's my shit, man.
Myself with Chop, you know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, we're kind of somewhat storytelling, we're, you know, talk about some experiences or whatever. Boom. Then like, you know, so I say all that to say is just, whenever I hear a beat, it's like how it makes me feel. Okay. I'm trying to get back to the point of, like, when I was younger, I used to be able to just write and then find something that would, that would fit it. Yeah. But now it's more like, man, I got to hear a beat, and the beat is going to kind of dictate.
Tell you where you going with it.
Which kind of fucks with me, because I be feeling like it shouldn't be that way. I should have the control. Like, I got to say so. Yeah. But I mean,
because I always hear people writing shit, like writing in, writing lyrics, and then they just hear a beat like, oh, I think that goes, with this, and so that's interesting to know, because
it's like fuck A-Mod watching, he be writing all his little on the paper, like all type of crossways, and I'm like, man, what the fuck? You just saving bars? Like I have that on my phone where I just like, oh, that's a good bar, and I have a whole thing bars. But it's like to just write some shit and then be like, all right, I'm gonna go find a beat. Now if I had money for like a producer to go be like, hey, this is what I'm spitting, build something around this.
Yeah.
Then yeah, but it's mainly just how the beat feels. So, Sleepwalkers was lyrical, talking my shit, but I dropped a little bit of boom. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, my pinnacle of like my favorite shit, I would say it'd be like DDA, which is only on YouTube, because I push the T and J, they not gonna let me make it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Copyright that ass, fucking block party. But DDA and garrote music. Those two right there, I think was like.
Damn, I thought you said throat music. I was like, whoa.
I'm gonna have one of them too. I'm gonna have my Throat Baby song coming too soon. You know what I'm saying?
Baby song.
Link for all the freaks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kids is gone. School. They back in school. Play that bitch during the middle of the day and do what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Play it when you're doing your ratchetivities.
Shout out Iron Ray. Facts.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like those are the ones that I feel had a little bit of everything. It was lyrical. You had punchlines. You had bars. You had wordplay. It got spiritual. It got a little bit of philosophy in it, and then it has that real deal, like, like this is what we do. This is where we at. This is where I come from. So, I try to just do a little bit of everything if I could. I'd fucking have all of it in one song, but you got to pick and choose your lanes.
No, for sure. Dream collab or collabs.
Dream collab, shit. Me, M, Jay, Kanye, Pusha T, Gates, shit. Off top, just like that. As far as motherfuckers is like alive, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd probably say like my top 5 is different from like my favorite 5, but that would pretty much.
What is your top 5?
Like of all time or
all time?
So I'm gonna say Jay, and in no particular order. Jay, M, Pac, Push. Man, I always get tripped up on that last spot because it's so fucking.
That's high praise for Push is dope. Don't get me wrong.
Man,
like
that
to
motherfucker.
Put him up there with them,
I just like that motherfucker. Oh, and Wayne. Duh, what the fuck I got going on? Because Wayne's like, when it comes to punchlines, like king. Technical rapping, Eminem.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, that's kind of who I somewhat favor more in the sense of, like I said, I like my shit to have deeper meanings. That and that man dropped so much spiritual shit, which is what I love, because a lot of people are not philosophically or spiritually inclined like that.
Sure,
so they hear and be like, oh, fucking.
They're like clueless.
Yeah, but when you know and you hear the shit, I'm just like, man, that's fucking crazy. And I love the fact that there be shit from him that I've heard. I won't catch a bar for like 2-3 fucking years. And that's what I like. I feel like, man, I put shit in my music that until you know it, you're going to be like, man, that motherfucker said, I never caught that shit. Yeah. That's what I strive for.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Have you heard the Eminem and, what's his new artist name? Is it Easy Mill or Mills, something like that? Yeah,
Mills, Easy Mill or something
where he
like that.
dissed the Melly Mel and did you hear Melly Mel's response?
On the cool, I don't entertain none of that shit just because I feel like, bro, you solidified already. Like, why are you worried about these motherfuckers? I'm a firm believer.
I think it's just the competitiveness in him. Like,
and I agree with that, but it got to be someone of your caliber. Yeah. You, Melly Mel, come on, bro. Like, the lion only toys with the mouse. To do any more would only serve to mar his reputation. You fucking play with these little motherfuckers, but when you treat them like equals, you're like, nah, man.
Bro, I heard the Melly Mel response, and it was literally 1984. Like, the flow, everything. I was just like, damn, bro. Like, I even commented on one of the reels I saw it on. I said, damn, Benzino did better than that. You know, that's saying a lot.
Fucking musclehead, huh?
Yeah, but the battle rap thing, man, that's hip hop, man. It's just the nature of it. Like, some people, and I think with M, it's like it takes a lot for him to respond. Like, he don't really just, because they've been popping off about him. Lord Jamar.
But then you look at it like, well, who the fuck are y'all?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who are y'all? Like, granted, y'all got, to me, who the fuck am I to y'all? I respect that. But at the same time, to him, like, man, there's tears to this shit, bro. How they say on Fast and Furious, you don't just jump in the ring with Ali because you think you box. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, The
Shout
fuck
out
y'all.
to Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff. They had a song that was called "I Think I Can Beat Mike Tyson," and Fresh Prince tells the story. I think I can beat him. He said, "Man, that dude, he ain't nothing." He gets in the ring, gets his ass beat, and it's a funny story, man.
I'm about to go look that. He says GJ, Jazzy Jeff, and Will. It's
Fresh
called what?
Prince. The song's called "I Think I Can Beat Mike Tyson."
I think I can. Beat
Yeah,
Mike
you ought to go
Tyson.
listen to it, man. Fresh Prince be doing the capping like he ran 200 miles in 2,000 sit-ups, and then he goes in there and gets hit one time and it's a wrap. But yeah, man, the competitiveness of hip hop is I think it's needed though, man, because it's been a
I think
part
it's
of
lacking now.
Yeah, it is. It ain't really. That's what I was saying. Like when that happened, although it wasn't really much of a battle, but it was still entertaining to the public. Like, okay, he finally responded. Because
Yeah.
when some Eminem does, it's like, oh shit, let me go. Because he rarely even pops out nowadays. Because it's like, why? He don't need to.
And that's to me even more so. Like, why you fucking respond to this motherfucker? Like, you know what I'm saying?
He
But
drops one bar and it's a wrap for those guys.
Yeah.
Like,
and maybe it's just also too like it's who I am. I ain't got nothing going on. Maybe it's like something
maybe
to
it's
just
a marketing
do.
thing too, because that's promoting his new artist. Because maybe more people wouldn't have listened to that song because it's like, well, who's this guy that Eminem's with? But now that
True.
he actually dissed him, it's like now more eyes are on the new artist who's actually Filipino.
I knew he was.
yeah.
I thought he was kind of Hispanic. But
I
was
did
like,
too.
He look a little different.
Too.
He might be a
No,
little mixed up.
He's Filipino, man.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's crazy. You know, he's pretty talented. You know, he does. But anyway, what's next for you, man?
Right now, you talking about as far
Not
as music?
today. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm talking like music
the career,
or
the music, the.
Shit, really on the cool. I've had enough people kind of ask me about this album shit, so I have enough music that I could really put together an album. I'm just trying to decide do I want to have like part of me wants to do like a concept album, some Good Kid, Mad City type shit.
Okay.
Which I don't know if y'all heard, man. Y'all go on to my shit and listen to that storytelling right there. You know what I'm saying? And fucking an RIP to them people. Whatchamacallit. But anyways, that kind of showed me, like, that was my first really trying to test the water of, like, because like I said, I don't like just not only my business, but other people's shit. And when you start relaying your life on record, it's not just you. You got other people involved, you know? So it's like sometimes you don't want to speak on certain shit because maybe someone doesn't want that light, or maybe it speaks to a situation that's been long gone, and now, you know, there's a lot of shit that goes to that.
For sure.
So, but I feel like, man, it'd be something that's more needed, especially with all this mindless shit out here now. And then the other half is just like, man, give them an album full of as much different shit as you can try that you feel like, all right, I'm proud of this. I can push this. You know what I'm saying? Just so they can be like, all right, he's giving us these different lanes that he's dipping through. You know what I'm saying?
I always think, like, if an artist is gonna drop an album, man, make sure that you're happy with it.
Facts.
Yeah,
Yes.
you want the public to like it, and you want, you know, whoever to rock with it. But if you're not happy with what you did, then you, who did I you know what? I was actually talking to KP about his album that came out, and I told him
Shout out my boy KP.
Yeah, shout out to KP. Fed Talk and
Fed Talk, Moon, fucking
there was another one that it was Fed Talk and I'm Not a Rapper, not a rapper.
No, yeah.
I said those three, Moon, the one on the Moon, the Fed Talk, and Not a Rapper. I said, man, those are my three favorite joints. He goes, really? Like, he was surprised by it because he said, that's my type of music. Reading between the lines, I felt he was kind of pressured into making the other stuff, and I don't think he was happy with it, you know, because, and that's just me. I could be wrong. It's just my assumption, right, based on the conversation that we had. And which led me to think, like, man, if you're gonna drop a project, bro, like, make sure you rock with it, bro. Forget what everybody says. Yeah, you can have all the opinions, but at the end of the day, are you happy with the project you drop? That's what matters most, because it's you.
I think it's the influence. It's like Jay says, like, man, that's like one thing about me. Like, I'm not worried about nobody else's time. Like, I'm not worried about what they're doing, I'm worried about what I'm doing. And I think, you know, I've had people tell me, like, man, I'm gonna just drop this album, and I'm like, well, shit, I mean, do what you want, you know, do what you want to do. That's what you feel. Well, what do you think? That's me personally. I'd be like, I think that you're probably more or less influenced by everyone else. Like, everyone else is dropping albums and shit, and you feel like, oh, I got to do it to keep up. But man, run your race. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do.
I love that. Run your race.
Or not even really a race, because it's not a race. It's a marathon. But it's your lane. You know what I'm saying? You dictating what the fuck you do. So if you trying to keep up with every Harry, Dick, and Jane, man, you're gonna be playing catch up fucking forever.
You're lost in the shuffle.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta be true, and that all goes back to.
I'm falling victim to that. Like I see other brands doing their thing, and I'm kind of like, oh shit, I gotta do that.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like, wait, settle down, sit down, slow down, drink some water.
You gotta you gotta know, like, you gotta be able to gauge yourself and be true to yourself and not just be like, because it's nothing wrong with inspiration to be inspired and to be like, oh man, I want to get into, but to just be like, oh man, I'm gonna start doing this, and you start fucking overextending yourself. You can't do it all. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what fucked up the Spartans. They were the coldest out there. But they just kept fucking until it was like, man, I'm spread too thin. I can't do all this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think once you know your lane, you know your capabilities, you know your strengths, you gotta kind of just know yourself. Be true to who you are, and then drive through.
Master
you know,
one or two things before you start trying to be doing all these other things, because if you ain't mastering nothing, then what are you really doing? You know what I'm saying? Like
jack of all trade, master of none.
Master of none. Exactly. So man, that's some gems in this interview on the cool, man. Like you know, I'm hoping that artists that are watching will take heed to. And it's not like we know it all, but we're just speaking from experience or our thoughts and our opinions on it. We just want, you know, we're just sharing it with the public, you know, whoever is watching, sharing it with the world, so to speak. So that's
what it's all about. Like my brother used to tell me, you can learn a lot from a dummy. Let me be your dummy. You know what I'm saying? So like whenever we first got together, we were doing the whole crash landing shit, and we're like, man, what do you? They be like, you know, what do you think? I'd be like, look, bro, I can tell y'all everything not to do. All the shit that I did wrong. You know what I'm saying? When you arrive to these, you know, these situations, these forks in the roads, know which way to take. So this is what I did when I arrived at that junction. This is what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when you watch them do it and it starts working, you're like, okay, I ain't fucking tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't just blowing smoke up my own ass. So it lets you know, like, all right, your head's in the right place. Now maybe you can't follow that same, you know, like you can give the advice, you may not be able to follow your own advice to a T because the advice is always going to be kind of tailored to whoever you're speaking to type shit.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? But like, it lets you know, okay, I'm on the right path. You know what I'm saying? I might not be at the right house, but bitch, I'm in the neighborhood and I'm finna turn on the street type shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's really all it is. So it's like, man, I tell them boys, man, do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? And then now I'm trying to catch up to them. You know what I'm saying? They're boom, boom, boom. So it's the same shit, dude. And it's like, you know, people tell me, hey, you should have dropped the album, you should have did this. I wasn't ready. I didn't feel like I was at that point.
I get that all the time. You should do this, you should do that. First of all, unless you're going to give me the money to do it. You
know, we got a lot to say and no payment.
It's easy for people to tell you what to do with your brand, but, you know, or even with the talk show, like in the early stages, you know, I had people all in my ear, man, you should do this, bro, and this will work out. But nobody's putting up the bread. Nobody's really, you know, to do that. Or, all right, man, hey, look, I don't agree with that. But by all means, when you do your show, let me know how that works.
And I'm there to support.
Yeah, I'm there to support. But it ain't happened. So
that's real though. I done told my people the same shit. They be like, hey man, you should do this, you should do that. I'm like, well look, I said, man, I'm my own promoter. I'm getting my own, you know, finding my own shows. I'm paying for my studio. I'm paying for my beats. I'm fucking paying for my videos. I'm showing up and directing the videos, all that shit. Like, what are you putting in on? Before you give me an opinion, what are you putting in on? Because I'm doing all this shit myself. I don't need a fucking backseat driver. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's not even to be disrespectful, but it's like, I look at it like this. To tap into the shit we were saying before, like people, oh, you know, my homeboys don't support me, or, you know, my mom doesn't support me, or my girl doesn't support me. And it's like, well, you know what? You got to be able to do that shit on your own. Have the constitution to do that shit on your own. And if someone's going to come in and give you input, take it with a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, it's like, where have you been all this time? If you ain't been and, you know, supporting, sharing, liking, then I don't even really need your opinion. Because in my mind, I'm going to feel like, oh, you coming around right now because you think shit is finna go. Which is why I say, like, I understand whenever I fell back all them times, and every time I came back, I would lose faith. It's not their job to believe in you. It's your job to make them believe. And you know what I'm saying? It's whenever you're lazy, that's just disrespectful to the motherfuckers that believe in you. Because it like, we don't think about it consciously like that, but it take a lot to really invest into someone and say, you know what, you got something in your heart and your, you know, your ambition, your drive, your fire that you're pursuing. And a lot of people are probably telling you that you crazy or that you can't do it or you should find something safer. So to have people be like, hey, I see what you're trying to do. I may not understand, but I support it. And a lot of times the people that are gonna tell you the adverse shit is because they ain't got dreams, they ain't got goals, they don't know what the fuck. And shout, if you're listening, man, there's nothing wrong with being just a regular motherfucking 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's cool. We need all type of people. Not everyone is meant to or wants to be something just bigger than what they are. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, if you going 70, 60 and you all the way to the left, you see a motherfucker coming, they go and just get out of his way. Yeah. It ain't got to be no malicious intent, but you see a motherfucker with ambition. It takes a lot to want to do that, especially, like you say, people do you wrong, and man, we creatures of habit. Someone fuck over you, be like, fuck these motherfuckers. You don't be wanting to deal with them, but we gotta push past that shit.
You gotta keep going, man. There's no, you can't stop for no one, bro. Like, no matter what. In the short 3 years that I've come back to doing what I'm doing, you know, I lost my brother-in-law who passed away. You know, I quit my job after almost 15 years.
You was better off without him.
Where I was miserable at, you know, and everything that I'm doing now, bro, I spoke it. I said it. I said, man, I'm going to do this. And people tell me, like, man, I remember you talking about you was going to do a talk show. What made you want to do it? Shit, because I wanted to. Mm-hmm. That's just it. It's nothing. It was no science to it. It was just like, well, it kind of was, because it was like, again, like we said earlier, was to highlight the people that needed that, man. Mm-hmm. Like, so when we did embrace the culture, it was to promote brown businesses. The people that don't get to be at the big events because they can't really afford it and they're trying to get their name out there. Nah, this is what this is for. So that's why we do have the talented artists that do come out and perform, and they do deserve that, you know. And man, yeah, we can continue to go on about that, man. But I honestly, bro, like, just want to thank you, bro, for coming, and we might have to do this again. Actually, I talked to the guys and said I wanted to bring everybody that was on the cipher and do one big interview with everybody. And I still have plans on doing that. So, any last minute shout outs, bro?
One, shout out my wife. You know what I'm saying? Rocking with me, we try to do our best to be, to have these open communications, but.
That's another one. Is like the walking that line between when you have a relationship and you have kids. It's hard because you got to be outside. Like, I should be at home, probably laying down right now.
And that's why matter of fact, I don't tell everybody that we fuck, man, if you are not fighting with your spouse about this shit, you're not going hard enough. Yeah. Because that's just the truth. Unless she's in it with you, like, oh, babe, we're doing this, that, and the third, which is not always the case. But if you do get that, you're lucky. But for the regular motherfucker, for most of us, if you're not fighting with your significant other about the shit, then you're probably not doing enough. And it's not saying go and start drama on be fucking toxic and shit.
Matter of fact, I need to make a phone call after this.
Yeah, shout out Tilla. I'm finna wild tonight. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, bro, you gotta fucking. There's gonna be times you're gonna miss engagements. You're gonna miss, certain shit that you did. Something's gonna pop up, and man, you gotta be willing, because you never know who's gonna be there. Yeah. That one moment might change your life. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out my wife, fucking, and then shout out you, TDM, Latinx, everybody that's really just supporting what we do, and y'all just do it off the love. Y'all ain't asking no type of reciprocation. Y'all ain't asking for money or no type of shit. Y'all just doing it because y'all fuck what we got going on. It's like I was telling you, to just be able to have people that believe in it like you believe in it. Yeah. Sometimes that's all you need, that little push. At the same time, it take a motherfucker who's already on the edge to get that little push and wild the fuck out. Yeah. Man, you never know how close you are, or that little push that someone needs. You know, a dream is just the other side of a nightmare. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's you
never know how close someone is, man, and sometimes you just need that extra motivation, that push behind them, you know. And there's nothing wrong with promoting and pushing your friends or people but even if you're not friends, but you know them and you believe in what they do, man, encourage them, man. Send them that DM. I get tons of DMs, bro, especially lately since the talk show's been back. I get so much love from people, like friends of mine, that hey, man, keep doing what you're doing. I just saw one of your episodes and it was dope, and you know, keep doing what you're doing. And I just had a friend the other day who messaged me, and she was like, it's crazy. She goes, but you've always had, she goes, it doesn't surprise me how good you are at what you're doing, because she's known me since, we've known each other since we were kids. Mm-hmm. And like, that meant the world to me, because I never knew that, you know. So for her to actually come out the shell and say that, it was like, damn, that's dope. That just pushes me like, damn, okay, now I know I'm on the right track.
Facts. You never know who's watching, who you're influencing, or who you're like, man, because they're gonna be motherfuckers who you don't even know, and they're like, there's something.
You inspire the next
facts.
The next Drake, Nicki Minaj, whatever.
And the thing is, you don't even know the level at which you're affecting them, because some people can just inspire you. Right? That's why I got this shit tatted right here. Sing for the Moment from Eminem. That shit literally saved my life. Like legit, I was finna do some shit I couldn't walk back from, and that song was playing, and I remember listening to that shit, and I was like, man, that's fucking crazy. And I was like, man, you know what? If something like that, a motherfucker never met, never knew, I'm not even a thought in this motherfucker's world.
For sure.
But still, that shit just hits you in such a way that's like, man, bro, to walk back from something that pushes you that far, it's like, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to, you know what I'm saying? My wife was telling me at her job, some fucking chick pulled up or came with her boyfriend, and they were talking. She's like, oh, your husband so-and-so. Was like, yeah, man, I fuck with his music, man. He was like, yeah, he really helped me kind of get out of a dark place or something to that extent. And me, being kind of how I am, I'm like, well, who the fuck is that? I don't know what's this nigga's name? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like, you know, and I probably shouldn't be like that. But if you're watching it, whoever you are, reach out to me, let me know what's up. I love to put a face to the story type shit. Yeah. But yeah, man, like you never know who the fuck it is that you're affecting and how deep. It could be more than just, oh, they're inspiring me to believe in myself, or oh, now they're inspiring me to chase this dream that I already have. Man, you might be saving their fucking life.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Facts. So music is a beautiful thing.
Music is therapy. We just talked about that on a previous episode with DJ Obedient, DJ Too Deep, about how spiritual music is and how it can touch the soul and really, and you don't even know. And these guys, they DJ for a living, so they see, you know,
a whole plethora of music and places. And people.
Yeah, the right song can really generate. I mean, the Nuck, even with the Nuck If You're Bug or the Little Johns back in the day, you know, you play that or some 3 6
motherfucker getting their head busted.
Yeah, you getting your head busted. But if I see them over there looking at me wrong, and I done had a few shots of Hennessy, I'm coming over there.
Yeah, it's like, fuck them. Yeah, but it's like you said though. I spoke the shit into existence. Yeah. The power of life and death is in the tongue. And when you think about it, we're taking our thoughts and our energy, we're putting that shit onto something that's going to resonate and be spread across the world. So on a very, like, without getting too deep, spiritual, metaphysical level, you're really doing spell work. You're manifesting this shit. So you got to be careful of what you say. But if you couple that with your belief and your intuition and what the fuck you're doing, you know, not to be blasphemous, but in a lot of senses, you're almost God-like. You know what I'm saying? Because the only thing that separates gods and men, not God, but gods and men, philosophy-wise, is patience. Their time is infinite, so there's never a rush. It's just the next step, and that's how we got to be when we trust our process. Patient people
in the world, like impatient and everything, man. But
facts.
Damn, bro, we really got on some deep stuff, man. And again, I appreciate you coming. You know, you continue to have the support of them damn Mexicans. I'm sure Latinx would say the same thing. We're just trying to create a movement that will last and change the culture, change the narrative of what's out there, man. So again, I appreciate what you do, and continue doing that, brother. Like again, I thank you for coming out, and man, make sure you guys go follow him. Check out the music. We'll put the links in the description. And
appreciate everybody tuning in.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody that tunes in and supports the channel as well. Like we need more of y'all, man. I need about 500 more subscribers, man. Y'all gonna subscribe to the channel, share it with your mama, daddy, baby mama. You know. And
you're not a hoe for showing love. Yeah, people gotta stop thinking that like, oh, you some type of bitch ass nigga, use a whatever the fuck like. Yeah, and then motherfuckers show love, because you know what? It's too many people trying to be the stiff stilo, and 90% of motherfuckers ain't even like
you. Ain't even built like
you know what I'm saying? So like, just show love, and when we get together, man, it's a beautiful thing. Iron sharpens iron. It's like we talk about all the time. We're building this shit brick by brick. You know what I'm saying? So
I love that.
You know, let's build. Let's make something beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Give us your thoughts, man. What anything that you saw. Give us your thoughts and your opinions on the episode. And thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of TDM Talk. We are Them Damn Mexicans.